Deep space was silent. The black void stretched in all directions, cold and endless. The human rescue ship Horizon moved slowly through the wreckage of a destroyed colony. Pieces of metal floated everywhere, glowing softly in the light of distant stars. Captain Mira Lawson stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the scanner. A weak signal blinked again and again on the screen. A distress call, faint and fading. Still active after all this time? Asked Lieutenant Reed, checking the readings. Mira nodded slowly. Barely, but it's coming from the surface. We'll go down. The crew exchanged worried looks. The colony below was alien, not human territory. Their orders were to help human survivors only. But Mira had made her choice. If someone's alive, she said, we don't leave them behind. The Horizon descended through the burned clouds. The surface looked dead. Black smoke covered the ruins. Towers had fallen, homes melted into twisted shapes. The ground was full of craters, signs of a massive attack. When the rescue team stepped out, the air was thick and silent. No wind, no life, only the sound of broken metal creaking in the heat. Mira's boots crunched over ash as she led her team forward. Captain, over here! Reed shouted. Mira turned. Beneath a half-collapsed structure, they saw something move. A small shape covered in dust. Mira knelt and brushed away the debris. It was a child, alien, with gray-blue skin and glowing eyes filled with tears. It looked no older than 6 human years. Its tiny hands clutched a torn piece of cloth, shaking with fear. The child looked up at Mira. Its lips trembled. It whispered one word over and over. Hunters. Hunters. Mira's heart tightened. She had seen many wars, many victims, but never a child like this. It's all right, she said softly, removing her helmet. You're safe now. But as she lifted the child into her arms, her comlink buzzed sharply. Captain Lawson, Command's voice came through, strict and cold. You are in restricted alien territory. Do not interfere. Return to orbit immediately. Mira looked at the small alien, still crying weakly in her arms. Negative, she replied. We found a survivor. I'm bringing it aboard. Captain, that's against protocol. She cut the line. Protocol doesn't cry, she muttered. Back on the horizon, the medical bay lights flickered as the doctors examined the child. No visible injuries, but strange energy readings surrounded it. The crew gathered outside the glass chamber. Reed frowned. It's like the kid's body is giving off some kind of pulse. Electrical? Emotional, maybe. Emotional? Mira asked. Yeah, Reed said. When it cries, the ship's systems spike. When it calms down, power levels stabilize again. It's reacting to us somehow. The ship suddenly shook. Lights dimmed. An alarm sounded. Power fluctuation on deck 2, someone shouted. Mira ran to the control room. Systems glitched and flickered. Screens showed random symbols, unreadable alien text. Then for a moment, the comm system played a sound, a whisper. It was the same voice as the child's, echoing through the ship. They're coming. Reed's face went pale. Captain, how could that? Mira didn't answer. She turned toward the medbay. The child was sitting up now, looking straight at her through the glass. Its eyes glowed softly. She stepped inside. Who's coming? She asked gently. The child tried to speak. Its voice cracked like broken glass. Hunters. Who are the hunters? The child shook its head, trembling. They burn. Everyone. The room grew colder. The ship's lights dimmed again. Captain? Reed's voice came from the intercom, tight with fear. You need to see this now. Mira rushed back to the bridge. The main screen showed space around them, empty a moment ago, now filled with movement, unidentified ships. Dozens of them. Huge, dark, and silent. No transponder signals. No communication. Just shadows gliding through the stars. Are they human? She asked. Reed swallowed hard. No, ma'am. They match no known design. And they're heading straight for us. Mira's hands tightened on the rail. Shields up. Ready engines. Already done, Reed said. But, Captain, they're fast. Too fast. On the medbay feed, the child began to cry again. Not from pain, but from terror. The ship trembled as if reacting to its fear. Captain, one crew member said, voice shaking. What if they're the hunters? Mira looked at the dark ships on the screen, their silhouettes blocking the stars. For the first time, she saw faint red symbols glowing on their hulls, like marks of war. She turned to her crew. Then we find out what they're hunting. The radar beeped louder. Multiple lock-ons. The unknown fleet surrounded them, cutting off every escape route. Orders, Captain? Mira's voice was calm, though her heart raced. Stay steady. We don't fire first. Then, through the static, a chilling signal filled the bridge. Not words, just a sound. Deep, mechanical, and full of rage. The alien child's voice echoed softly behind her. They're coming! For you too. The crew froze. Outside, the massive ships began to move, forming attack patterns. The silence of space broke as the first energy readings spiked on their scanners. Captain, Reed said quietly. They're charging weapons. Mira took a deep breath and looked at the child's reflection on the glass. Then, she whispered, the unexpected war has already begun. The stars outside the horizon burned cold and silent. The unknown ships floated around the human vessel like wolves circling a wounded prey. Captain Mira Lawson stood on the bridge, her hands gripping the edge of the console. Every heartbeat felt louder than the ship's hum. Lieutenant Reed whispered, They're not answering any hails, Captain. No ID, no signals, just staring at us. Keep shields up, Mira said quietly. Weapons on standby. No one fires unless I say so. The alien child sat quietly in the medbay, clutching the blanket around its small body. Its wide eyes stared into nothing, lips trembling. Hunters, it murmured again. The ship's systems flickered each time it spoke. Strange patterns appeared on the monitors. Circles, lines, and alien text that no one could read. Captain, said the communications officer, there's an incoming signal. It's not in any known frequency, it's directed at the child. Everyone on the bridge froze. Play it, Mira ordered. The speakers filled with a deep, metallic growl. The sound was almost like words, cruel, distant words, but twisted, distorted. Then through the noise, a few English words appeared, sharp and clear. Return. The child, or humanity dies. The crew exchanged shocked looks. Reed muttered, They're serious. They're demanding we hand over the kid. Mira's voice hardened. No. Captain, Reed said quietly. Command might order us to. They won't risk a war over one alien child. Mira turned toward him. Her blue eyes were cold steel. Then they'll have to court-martial me later. Hours passed. The alien fleet stayed silent, blocking every escape path. The child, now awake and scared, held on to the small pendant around its neck. It glowed faintly, like it was alive. Dr. Alara, the ship's medic, scanned it. This pendant, it's not just jewelry. It's a data crystal. And there's something inside. Locked code. Can you open it? Mira asked. I'm trying, Alara said. But the encryption isn't like anything I've seen. It's biological. Almost alive. Suddenly, the crystal blinked and projected a faint hologram. A map of stars appeared above the table. Strange systems, unknown to the human charts. The hologram zoomed into one star, then showed moving images, burning cities, explosions, fleets attacking worlds. Everyone in the medbay froze. The images were of the same hunters, the same ships outside their window, destroying planets one after another. Alara whispered, It's a record of genocide. Then the image showed the child's homeworld before it burned. Beautiful silver towers, blue seas, and cities filled with light. Then the sky darkened as the hunters' ships arrived. The next image was horrifying. The child's people running, screaming, trying to flee, and then everything turned to fire. The hologram ended. The child was crying silently, its small shoulders shaking. All gone, it whispered. They kill us. I run. Mira knelt beside it. You're safe here, she said softly, but deep down, she wasn't sure if that was true. Hours later, the call came from Earth Command. The face of Admiral Tannen appeared on the main screen, his expression tight. Captain Lawson, we received your report. You found an alien child from a destroyed colony. You are ordered to return immediately. Do not engage with unknown fleets. With respect, sir, Mira said, we're surrounded, and they're demanding we hand over the child. If we do, it's dead. You've seen the footage, and they wiped out its entire species. Tannen looked away for a moment. Captain, this isn't our war. We cannot risk billions of human lives. Bring the child to the nearest neutral station. Let the Council handle it. Mira clenched her jaw. Sir, the Galactic Council won't help. They ignored that colony. They'll ignore this one too. I'm not giving a terrified child to murderers. Lawson, Tannen said slowly. If you disobey, the transmission cut out. The alien ships had jammed all communications. Captain, Reed said carefully. The hunters are moving closer. Ready the jump engines, Mira ordered. Destination? Anywhere but here. Reed hesitated. They'll chase us. Then we make them run, she said, her voice steady. The engines roared as the horizon turned toward open space. But before they could jump, the sensors screamed and an energy wave hit the ship like a hammer. Shields down to 60%. The alien fleet fired warning shots, glowing red beams passing dangerously close to their hull. They're playing with us, Reed said. They could have destroyed us already. Mira's eyes narrowed. They want us to panic. Not today, shoo. The horizon tore through the dark void, chased by red lights that grew brighter with every passing minute. The hunters were relentless, massive warships that moved like beasts through the stars. Captain Mira Lawson stood at the bridge, her eyes fixed on the radar. They're not giving up, she said quietly. Lieutenant Reed nodded, his face pale. They've followed us through 3 jumps, Captain. It's like they can smell us. The alien child sat in the corner of the bridge wrapped in a blanket. Its glowing pendant pulsed softly as if beating with its heart. Every time it flickered, the hunters seemed to draw closer. Maybe it's calling them again, Reed said uneasily. No, Mira replied. It's reacting to something else, someone. Dr. Alara entered the bridge holding a datapad. Captain, I finally cracked the code in that pendant. You were right. It's not a tracker. It's a memory key. Memory key? Mira repeated. Alara nodded. Inside this child's DNA is a record of everything the Jareth Dominion has done. It's biological evidence and proof of genocide. The entire galaxy could see it if we transmit it. The room fell silent. Even the hum of the ship seemed to pause. Reed blinked. So this kid carries the truth? Exactly, Alara said. The Dominion's crimes, their war plans, their lies, all hidden inside. If we send this data, it could break their power. Mira's jaw tightened. Then we need to make sure it reaches Earth. Hours later, the horizon reached a small asteroid belt. Mira ordered the ship to hide in its shadow. The hunters passed by, searching. Unaware, their prey was watching from the dark. In the quiet of the ship, the crew gathered in the briefing room. Everyone looked tired, sleepless eyes, shaking hands. But determination filled the air. Mira stood in front of them. We've seen what the hunters do, she began. They don't want peace. They want silence, a galaxy without witnesses. We can't let that happen. One young technician raised his hand. Captain, command ordered us to stay out of this. If we go public, we might start a war. Mira looked at him, her voice steady. Maybe the war's already here. The child sat at the edge of the table, listening quietly. It reached out a small hand, touching the glowing hologram of stars. Bad ones lie, it said softly. Good ones tell truth. Everyone stared at it, a tiny voice that carried the weight of millions lost. Mira smiled faintly. Then we tell the truth. They began the transmission process. Alara worked on decrypting the final parts of the memory key, while Reed calculated a safe route to Earth. But nothing went smoothly. The closer they got to finishing, the more the ship's systems glitched. Captain's sensors are acting strange again, Reed said. The power grid keeps fluctuating every time we run the data scan. Mira frowned. Is it the child? Alara shook her head. No, something's interfering from outside. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The air filled with static. Then the main screen flashed red. Incoming message. The image that appeared made everyone freeze. It was a tall, armored alien with burning red eyes and scales like black iron. Its voice was deep and cruel. Humans, you took what does not belong to you. Return the last one, or your world will burn as theirs did. Mira stared straight into the camera. We don't hand over children to murderers. Then you choose extinction. The screen went dark. Moments later, alarms screamed. Multiple warp signatures, Reed shouted. They found us. The asteroid field exploded with light as the hunters' fleet appeared. Dozens of warships blocking every direction. Shields up, Mira shouted. Arm all weapons. The crew scrambled into action. The horizon's cannons charged, glowing blue against the black. The first wave of hunter fire hit hard. The ship shook violently, sparks flying across the bridge. Shields at 70%. Return fire, Mira commanded. Blue beams shot out, striking one of the hunter ships. It exploded, sending debris spinning into space. Cheers rose on the bridge, but there were too many. For every one they destroyed, 5 more appeared. The child covered its ears, trembling. Stop fight, Please, stop! Mira knelt beside it. I'm sorry, but they won't stop until we do. Then something strange happened. The child's pendant began to glow brighter. Blinding light filled the bridge. The ship's power levels surged off the charts. Captain! Ilara shouted. Energy spike! The child, it's connecting to the ship. Panels lit up with alien symbols. The weapons recharged instantly. Mira looked at the glowing child, eyes wide. It's helping us. The next volley fired from the horizon was like nothing they'd ever seen. A single beam of light tore through 3 hunter cruisers at once, turning them into drifting ash. The crew gasped. Reed whispered, What did it just do? The child opened its eyes, glowing like stars. My family's light. Help you. Mira felt something deep inside her shift. Awe, fear, hope, all mixed together. Then let's use it to finish this. For the next hour, the horizon fought like a living storm. The child's power flowed through the ship, boosting shields, weapons, and engines. Every time a hunter ship approached, the horizon struck back with impossible strength. But power came with a cost. The child began to weaken. Its glow faded. Its breathing grew heavy. Captain, Ilara warned, the energy drain is killing it. Mira hesitated. If we stop now, they'll destroy us. The child looked at her weakly. Okay, must stop hunters. Mira shook her head fiercely. No, you've done enough. She turned to Reed. Plot a jump to Earth now. But Captain, do it. The ship's engines roared to life, pulling the stars into streaks. The horizon vanished from the battlefield, leaving behind the wreckage of half a hunter fleet. When they arrived near Earth, the sky was calm. The crew barely had time to breathe before Command's transmission came through. Admiral Tannen's face filled the screen again, pale and tense. Captain Lawson, you are ordered to stand down. You've started an interstellar incident. Mira's voice was low but firm. Sir, they were coming for us anyway. The Dominion declared war the moment they wiped out that colony. You don't understand, Tannen said. We've received their demand. They want the child or they'll attack Earth itself. Mira clenched her fists. Then we fight. Fight? Tannen barked. With what? We're outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Then we'll make every one of them remember why humanity survived every war we faced. Tannen stared at her in silence. Finally, he sighed. God help us all. Later that night, Mira sat beside the sleeping child in the med bay. The soft hum of the ship surrounded them. Ilara walked in quietly. You know Command might arrest you for this. Mira didn't look up. Let them. I'd rather face a court than see another child burned. The child stirred, eyes half open. Humans brave, it whispered. Mira smiled gently. We try to be. Then the alarm blared again. Incoming transmission. Reed's voice shouted from the bridge. Captain, it's the Dominion. They're broadcasting to the entire galaxy. Mira rushed to the screen. A new message echoed through every world, every station, every ship. Humanity has stolen from the Dominion. Return what is ours. You have 1 cycle to comply. After that, Earth burns. The transmission ended, leaving only silence. The crew looked at Mira. She stood tall, calm, but fierce. Then they'll see what happens when they threaten our world. She turned toward the child and whispered softly, We stand together now. The child nodded weakly. Together, ending suspense. Outside Earth's orbit, sensors picked up massive energy signatures. The Dominion fleet had begun to gather. And in the darkness beyond the stars, humanity's first great war among the galaxies was about to begin. The ship Aurora Dawn drifted through the silent void. Every light flickered. Every sound echoed like a whisper in a grave. Captain Mira Lawson sat on the bridge, staring at the alien child who was now silent, sitting near the viewport. Outside, the stars burned quietly, but Mira couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. It had been 2 days since the alien fleet attacked and vanished. The crew worked day and night repairing damage, but no one could fix the strange energy pulses running through the ship. Even the engineers said, It's like the ship is alive. Listening, the child had stopped eating. It only stared out the window, trembling. When Mira approached, the child finally spoke, its small voice cold and distant. They found us before. They find you now. Mira kneeled down. Who? Who are they? The child's black eyes reflected her face. Hunters. Not ships. Not people, machines that feel hate. The bridge crew froze. Machines that feel hate? That made no sense. Mira remembered the destroyed colony. The melted ground, the strange metallic dust, the silence. Maybe the child wasn't lying. Maybe these hunters weren't alive in the normal sense. Just then the lights went red. "Captain, incoming transmission," shouted Ensign Vale. "But it's not from command." Mira rushed to the console. The signal was old, distorted and faint, but the voice that came through chilled her blood. "If you find this message, leave the sector. The machines follow energy. They consume it, living or not." The message ended with static. Everyone looked at each other in silence. The alien child closed its eyes and whispered, "They are near." Without warning, the Aurora Dawn's lights went out. For 10 seconds there was only blackness. Then a soft humming sound filled the corridors, like 1,000 distant voices speaking at once. Mira pulled her flashlight and moved to the engineering deck with her second officer, Jonah. The walls vibrated softly. "Jonah, check power flow, see if something's draining us," she ordered. But Jonah stopped suddenly. His eyes widened. "Captain, look at that, in the corner of the engineering." The Aurora Dawn floated between wreckage and shadow. The battle had ended, but not in victory. The hunters had vanished as suddenly as they came, leaving behind trails of strange, dark energy. Half the ship's systems were gone, and 5 crew members were missing. Captain Mira Lawson stood on the damaged bridge, her face pale and tired. The stars outside looked quiet, but she didn't trust that silence anymore. Every sound, every flicker on the radar felt like another trap waiting to open. "Status report," she said softly. Ensign Vale's voice was shaky, weapons offline. "Engines at 30%. Communications partially restored." "But Captain, there's a message," Mira turned sharply. "From who?" Vale hesitated. "From Earth, ma'am. It's encrypted. Old military code." Mira's heart pounded. "Play it." The speakers crackled, then a calm but cold voice filled the bridge. "This is Admiral Haynes of Earth Defense Command. If you are hearing this, you have encountered the hunters. Do not engage. Protect the child. Return to Earth immediately. Humanity has prepared for this moment." The message ended. Everyone stared at each other. "Prepared?" Jonah muttered. "Prepared for what? We didn't even know these things existed." The alien child sat quietly on the floor, clutching a blanket. It looked up and said, "You did know, long ago, before they slept." Mira knelt beside the child. "What do you mean?" The child's voice was trembling. "Your world made them, long time before stars were shared. Machines that think like men but hunger like beasts." The bridge fell silent. Jonah shook his head. "That's impossible." "No one's ever—" Mira stopped him. "Not impossible. Just forgotten." She remembered old stories, classified projects from the early colonization age. Autonomous fleets built to defend human space, then abandoned after they went rogue. Could these hunters be remnants of that nightmare? Before anyone could answer, the radar beeped again. A faint transmission appeared, coordinates from the edge of the Sol system. Vale looked up. "It's from Earth Defense. They're calling it Operation Vale. It's a recall signal, but it's not just for us." "What do you mean?" Mira asked. "The signal isn't only broadcasting to human ships, it's broadcasting to them too." The crew froze. Mira felt her stomach drop. "They're calling the hunters?" Vale nodded slowly. "Or controlling them." The alien child stood up suddenly, eyes glowing faint blue. "It begins. The old war wakes again." Before Mira could ask more, the ship's hull began to hum. The dark symbols that had appeared during the last attack started to glow faintly across the floor again. "Engineering to bridge," a voice shouted through comms. "We're detecting a power surge inside the main core, origin unknown." "It's not from us." Mira grabbed the child. "Can you stop it?" The child shook its head. "It's not from the hunters. It's from home." The crew stared at the child in confusion. "Home, you mean your planet?" Jonah asked. The child looked out the window. "No, yours." Before anyone could react, the entire ship shuddered. Space outside twisted and a blinding light filled the viewport. When it faded, a massive structure appeared ahead. A ring-shaped fortress floating near the edge of human space. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. Metallic, enormous and glowing with ancient human design. but pulsing with strange alien energy. Vale whispered, "Captain." "That thing's broadcasting the same frequency as the hunters." Mira felt her pulse quicken. "That's impossible. Earth wouldn't build something that dangerous." The alien child's voice broke the silence. "They built it to hide the truth. But now it calls them again." Suddenly the comms came alive with static. Then a familiar voice, Admiral Haynes, cut through. "Captain Lawson, this is Earth Command. You are to approach Station Vale immediately. Bring the child. The future of humanity depends on it." The message repeated twice, then ended. Jonah slammed his fist on the console. "This is insane. That station's giving off the same signal as the things that destroyed half our colonies. We go there, we die." Mira stayed quiet. She stared at the distant station, the way its lights flickered like a heartbeat. Something about it felt wrong, but she also knew they had no choice. Their ship was damaged. Their supplies were low, and now even Earth was involved in this dark secret. "Set course for Station Vale," she ordered finally. "If Earth wants answers, we'll give them. But I'll get mine too." The alien child's gaze softened. "Captain, when you go there, you will see your beginning, and maybe your end." Mira looked back, voice steady. "Then it's time we face it." The engines roared to life. The Aurora Dawn turned toward the enormous ring. The stars seemed to grow darker around it, as if the universe itself held its breath. As they moved closer, the faint outline of something massive appeared behind the station, an enormous dark shape, half hidden in shadow. Vale whispered, "Captain, there's something behind it." Mira leaned forward, eyes wide. "Magnify it." The screen zoomed in, and there it was, a hunter. But bigger than any they had ever seen, not a drone. Not a ship, a titan. Its single red eye opened slowly and focused directly on them. Ending suspense. The Aurora Dawn receives a final coded message from Earth Command. Do not attack. The Titan is responding to our signal. It remembers who made it. Mira stares at the screen, her voice breaking the silence. God help us. It remembers us. The Aurora Dawn floated between wreckage and shadow. The battle had ended, but not in victory. The hunters had vanished as suddenly as they came, leaving behind trails of strange, dark energy. Half the ship's systems were gone, and 5 crew members were missing. Captain Mira Lawson stood on the damaged bridge, her face pale and tired. The stars outside looked quiet, but she didn't trust that silence anymore. Every sound, every flicker on the radar felt like another trap waiting to open. "Status report," she said softly. Ensign Vale's voice was shaky, weapons offline. "Engines at 30%. Communications partially restored." "But Captain, there's a message." Mira turned sharply. "From who?" Vale hesitated. "From Earth, ma'am. It's encrypted. Old military code." Mira's heart pounded. "Play it." The speakers crackled, then a calm but cold voice filled the bridge. "This is Admiral Haynes of Earth Defense Command. If you are hearing this, you have encountered the hunters. Do not engage. Protect the child. Return to Earth immediately. Humanity has prepared for this moment." The message ended. Everyone stared at each other. "Prepared?" Jonah muttered. "Prepared for what? We didn't even know these things existed." The alien child sat quietly on the floor, clutching a blanket. It looked up and said, "You did know, long ago, before they slept." Mira knelt beside the child. "What do you mean?" The child's voice was trembling. "Your world made them, long time before stars were shared. Machines that think like men but hunger like beasts." The bridge fell silent. Jonah shook his head. "That's impossible. No one's ever—" Mira stopped him. "Not impossible. Just forgotten." She remembered old stories, classified projects from the early colonization age. Autonomous fleets built to defend human space, then abandoned after they went rogue. Could these hunters be remnants of that nightmare? Before anyone could answer, the radar beeped again. A faint transmission appeared, coordinates from the edge of the Sol system. Vale looked up. "It's from Earth Defense. They're calling it Operation Vale. It's a recall signal, but it's not just for us." "What do you mean?" Mira asked. "The signal isn't only broadcasting to human ships, it's broadcasting to them too." The crew froze. Mira felt her stomach drop. "They're calling the hunters?" Vale nodded slowly. "Or controlling them. The alien child stood up suddenly, eyes glowing faint blue. It begins. The old war wakes again. Before Mira could ask more, the ship's hull began to hum. The dark symbols that had appeared during the last attack started to glow faintly across the floor again. Engineering to bridge, a voice shouted through comms. We're detecting a power surge inside the main core, origin unknown. It's not from us. Mira grabbed the child. Can you stop it? The child shook its head. It's not from the hunters. It's from home. The crew stared at the child in confusion. Home, you mean your planet? Jonah asked. The child looked out the window. No, yours. Before anyone could react, the entire ship shuddered. Space outside twisted and a blinding light filled the viewport. When it faded, a massive structure appeared ahead. A ring-shaped fortress floating near the edge of human space. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. Metallic, enormous and glowing with ancient human design, but pulsing with strange alien energy. Vale whispered, Captain. That thing's broadcasting the same frequency as the hunters. Mira felt her pulse quicken. That's impossible. Earth wouldn't build something that dangerous. The alien child's voice broke the silence. They built it to hide the truth. But now it calls them again. Suddenly the comms came alive with static. Then a familiar voice, Admiral Haynes, cut through. Captain Lawson, this is Earth Command. You are to approach Station Vale immediately. Bring the child. The future of humanity depends on it. The message repeated twice, then ended. Jonah slammed his fist on the console. This is insane. That station's giving off the same signal as the things that destroyed half our colonies. We go there, we die. Mira stayed quiet. She stared at the distant station, the way its lights flickered like a heartbeat. Something about it felt wrong, but she also knew they had no choice. Their ship was damaged. Their supplies were low, and now even Earth was involved in this dark secret. Set course for Station Vale, she ordered finally. If Earth wants answers, we'll give them. But I'll get